starting my journey. Ani ali online wataba Martha kumbuzaako ne Joshua Antonio waliwo abantu abajja ne babeera mu Kamoli all the time. Today come out of the Kamoli since we are talking about things that affect all of us. So today is Saturday, September 9th. Era Martha ya so kumbuzaako. Yes, you're welcome guys. Today is going to be Saturday. Engeri akasana je kali akanji ngenda teka mu SC. So you guys may hear nyagala kabine eberenge nyogoga samusanga zaffe muzimanyi. Zimanyi okola empisa embi. So I'm going to first Steve Barros. Salmina banange Salmini nkwama ulire. Nine mmotoka je wampitidde nuwe yennyini. Eri mu kyalo. Teina yingini nfu eri ku UAW. Bwengena nenjijjayo ngenda jibaguze milioni 14 kubanga ngenda jireta njikola ebizungu. Wabula oli wadde mbogenda n'ojijjayo nawe n'otuuzaamu yingi. Kati nyinezo nuwa bidi y'omukyalo eyo gye bampitidde. Plus this one, of course, the one I shared with you guys. That one, you guys must remember that one they were trying to sell it to me. Gabara mu de milioni 12. Ekati ezo milioni 12. Ngina nenonole moroka yange nteka mu akasente. Nenga, how are you? Today we are talking family planning engineer milioni 2 kitundu. Between 1.6 to 2.5 depending on the health of the engine, where you're buying from, the guarantee they are giving you. There are so many things that people look at. We look at when we are buying parts. Yeah. So but engine is 2.5. Yeah, but such cars where the engine is not working, obo tala afia nogati moroka jibali bade banguze milioni 10. Kangene njigule milioni 6. Sijenji tuze mu engine 2. Oba 2 kitundu ekwere okitegeera. Because right now if they told you to look for a UAW that is moving and in good condition, bajja jigambe milioni 12 okitegeera. Na yenze just akasente kange kengatta tekanagatta. It is not adding. If it had added, senga najinonye na yodda. But now that sound that is coming to the phone, excuse it, it's just going to be periodical as I'm trying to make sure the phone gets to a cool temperature. Now when it becomes cold, I'm going to turn the vent away from the phone so that it's only the cabin that is actually cold. Yeah, but I hope you're doing well. Thank you for bringing me people for trackers. Now I'm installing a tracker. Thank you. I can't say business is booming because it's not, but it's not bad. Urban is going to take, Urban of course doesn't take milk, but he will be able to eat bread because he likes bread. Yeah, but how are you guys today? Today we are talking family planning. Hi Nick, hi Joshua, hi Nalongo's Investments, hi and Stephen, Timmy. Mulaba okuvuga ng'oli ku simu ali mukuli atasobola concentrating. Mulabe ebirevu biringa ebyange mwe mutuvumaganya nti abasajja b'ebirevu tetutegeera. Yeah, today we are talking family planning guys. So but I'll start by posing a question. What is family planning? And of course family planning leads to a planned family. So what is family planning? What is a planned family? And is it African to actually plan for a family or to plan a family? Or what viveko bya abazungu? Yeah, that sound is going to be there for like 5 more minutes and then I'll put it out. Yeah, just try and bear for these few minutes. It's the AC. I'm trying to cool Samsung. And of course it's directly in the sun, so I would totally understand. But soon I'll take the AC out. So we start by defining family planning. So according to you, what is family planning and what is a planned family? And is it African to plan families? Oba tubiveko tubyesonyo tubirekera abazungu. Yes. Omuntu w'entungo nga taliiwo wano. Njagala kulya ntungo. Bino ebirala byonna bye batuna tebiina nnyo mugaso mu bulamu bw'omusajja. How are you guys? Bannange emmoroka ntadde clutching eri mu gear. Yeah, good evening guys. Kayemba chichi hata lwaki togula iPhone olabika oli team Nokia. Samsung ekyangolola. Also iPhones have a lot of compatibility issues. Atera Joshua, I think even the iPhone would definitely, even the iPhone would overheat. Wano olaba wetuli wano. Here. Omusana gujja direct ku simu. Yes, good evening Emma. Emma una zeba nanga babadde bamubuuza. Emma lero wali. Andrew is the first to define family planning and he's saying family planning refers to a range of measures taken in order to control birth rate with the aim of raising a manageable family size. Andrew, are you a teacher? The way you're defining things, you're either a teacher or a manager. Managers want to give precise instructions. Yes, good evening Joshua, how are you today? Emma yali mukowo mwegoba badde manyi mukyali steady. Yeah, so today we are talking about family planning. Bana yo bana nkubira essimu nera biddo okuteeka mu airplane mode. So in case they call me, I will mute. Nenga kansubira, you guys are good. Ivan abekopie. Andrew is a nursing officer. In short, oli musawo doctor. Oli doctor kati fe tubaje doctor. Mwe ezo terms zamu kati mwe mwawulira ranka ndowooza fe twagala kumanya bya ranka. For us, as long as you can treat me and I get better, brakes zange ziweddeko ngenda kuteeka ku brake encha. Now someone would ask me, how do you know that the brakes are worn out? Bwovuga emmoroka nga brakes oziwulira zirwawo okukwata, gwemanya brakes zo either ziweddeko oba brake fluid. Ngenda kebera ku brake fluid, but I'm sure the brakes ziweddeko naddala ez'emabega naziwulidde. Emmoroka endi musaayi. Hi Ayman, how are you today? So Mweba guy, today we are talking family planning. What is family planning and what is a planned family? What is family planning and what is a planned family? It's important that tuchiyingiramu ne tukitegeerera ddala. And is it important for us as Africans oba ffe tuzaale busaazi buli mwana n'omukisa gwe Mukama yalimanya? So the picture that I've put on today's broadcast is a picture I took today morning as I was for my run. Then I was thinking, nowadays now scheduling a broadcast ya lero. Then I saw those kids nga bali mu nnimiro nga balima. Yeah. So you guys, as you define, I would like to bring something to you that probably so many people have not realized. Abasajja bedda, men of long ago, why did they have a lot of kids, a lot of wives? Okay? And why was it that the more kids you have, the more wives you have, the more wealth you have? Now, if you have looked at the picture that is on the broadcast here today, you will realize that those kids are in a garden, digging, and there is a kid that is actually 4 years old. Okay, now this family, I have no idea who they are. They were on my way as I was returning home, and I decided, let me take a picture. Yeah, so my interpretation, and from what I've heard from people that are older than me, is that a long time ago, as men lived long and long, that story would have sounded better in Uganda, but I have to tell it in English because of our people that don't understand Uganda. So a time ago, men would marry a lot of women. Okay, a good number of women. As long as he had the space to put those women, he would marry them. Okay, now these women would have kids. So these women would have kids. Right? Now, what would happen would be that with every woman that a man married, he would give her a farm. Okay? Now let's say a man has like 5 acres of land. So he marries 5 women. So every woman gets an acre of land to till and plant crops. Okay? Now, it so happens that, yeah, sorry about that. Someone again tried to call me. Yeah, sorry about that. Someone again tried to call me like at airplane mode. That person will not be able to call me again. Yeah, so, but I hope you guys are doing well. So I was still describing how men used to survive with this big number of women, big number of children. So I want you to also remember, we try to summer 8 years, you realize that kids would get training at home. They would not actually go to school. Okay? So a kid would grow up and they would get training. If the father wanted the kid to be a farmer, the kid would get training in farming. Okay? If the father wanted the kid to be like a carpenter, you'd get hands-on training in carpentry. The father wanted the kid to be a blacksmith, the kid would get training in blacksmithery, okay, or in metalworks or whatever. So it so happened that there was, of course, the father did not have to worry much about school fees, because if he had to pay for anything, then there was something called barter trade, right? So if, for example, I want my kid to learn how to make furniture, and my neighbor is a furniture maker, so all I have to do is give my neighbor, a furniture maker, the maize that I planted last season, and then he gives the skills to my son. So ideally, that's how these guys moved in life. Okay, when I need something, I give the person that has what I need, something they need, and I have. So that's how barter trade operated. And so there was no worry, no need of money. The money would be, if money existed then, to be used for other things, right? So, and remember, every woman has a piece of land, acres and acres, or let's say feet, let's say meters, where they have to dig. And at the end of the digging period, let's say at the harvest period, what would happen would be that this woman and her children would bring their harvest to the father of the home. Okay? They would bring their harvest and they would give it to the father. And the father would sell. He would get whatever he has to get and then distribute amongst the houses. So women did not own anything. Okay? Yes, they dug and dug, but they did not own anything. You get? So it was the man that would get all the wealth. Let's say we have 12 acres of land, and all my women, whereby each woman has 2 acres of land, let's say, and I have 6 acres, or 12 acres, and each woman has 2 acres. So it would happen that when they harvest things from these 12 acres, they bring to me, and I go sell. Okay? And when I sell, I bring whatever returns I've gotten from this sale, and I decide who to give what, and I take the majority of the share. So that's how men multiplied their wealth. That's how men got a lot of wealth from having a lot of women and a lot of children. That, on the other hand, doesn't happen anymore. Okay? These days, it doesn't matter how many acres of land you have. For you to even get your wife to go to the garden, she would have to be passionate about digging. And you need to also understand that these days women have rights. Today I was watching a video where someone was saying that the reason why marriages in America are not long lasting is because women have rights. A woman can decide to just wake up na agamba, I don't want this marriage anymore. So it still gets to the phone, but not as noisy as it has been. Omusajja wa sino track ono adduko oyinza okulowooza ayina ew'amaanyi gy'alaga kyokka agenda kusomba mayinja nange adduse nampisa n'okumpisa kyokka era muli mu maaso ebintu bya kampala bya mathematics si byakulinnya nnyo muliro. So what is family planning, guys? What is family planning and what is a planned family? And do we need it as Africans, Do we need it as young Africans? Naize bemoroka mbito bibera maso kati bwe kigaana okusiba ekimoroka kyetaga kubeera mabega kino tekyetaga kubeera maso ate engeri gyakirinyamwe bwe kigaana okusiba abalinnya mwenna n'abamalawo, because that thing is above my car. It's above all the cars in front of it, by the way. So what is family planning, and what is a planned family, and do we need it? Awakening. Hi, Nalongo. In Africa, we plan for family based on land. Yeah. They had large families for several reasons: security, for availability of labor, and also because of medicines had not evolved, so they wanted to increase the survival rate of children. Because I've had that reason, by the way. People keep saying Zara Abana Banji, so that if some of them die, you still have some available. and normally when someone tells me you should have a lot of kids so that if some die, you have others, and then I ask them, if you die, do your kids get another father or mother? And I always get the Anga's face. They don't know, they have no idea. So if my kids are not going to get another father when I die, why should I think that one kid can be a replacement of another? You get? So for me, I thought I don't get the logic. Of course, the survival is because they needed the kids for labor. Mwe, you see, it was totally business. These guys did not have kids for the sake of having kids. Mukazi waigo kwesa double indicator nona yayo noneka. Weyongere yo. Kati anonya wagula nyanya. Yongere moroka maso. Okay, you've seen Andrew Okuni's reason why men from a long time ago had large families. Hi Arthur, thank you for the good knowledge you always share here. Hi Jonathan, and Andrew is adding, and you notice that the man and wife had two in one bedroom, one large one with a wall in the middle, so that once they felt that they had enough children, each would sleep in their chamber. So Andrew, what you're saying, in a way, that was their family planning. Yeah, two in one bedroom. So they had. So how would they do conjugal duties then? Because those guys actually did not have family planning as well. The only family planning was abstinence, and we both know abstinence doesn't happen. That's why I think you find men in their 90s still having kids. And apparently I find that our generation is actually misguided, that we don't study what happened a long time ago, and we think these guys main road. Wenasanga jamu eyo nchukamu nekamba kubeka main road. Yeah, so for the guys that have just joined us, welcome to For the Love of Cars. Today we are talking about family planning. And Andrew is helping us. Andrew, he's in the health sector, is helping us understand family planning. Yes. So what is family planning to you who is watching, and what is a planned family, and do you really think we need family planning at all? Oba tuli malalaga abazungu tugesonywe kati chichi kirese jamu. They had two beds, one on each side of the dividing wall, so each chamber had a bed. So is this the reason why you would find that sometime a man had his own bedroom if they could afford, and the wife also had their own bedroom? So Andrew, the family planning they had was that bed that was divided. So their family planning was sleep in your bed, I sleep in my bed, no touching. So these guys actually had a kind of family planning, but it's not effective. It's not effective at all. Okuja Kongo ngamba that these two people are not attracted to each other, because if they are attracted to each other, there is no way the dividing wall is going to work. Okay, a separate bedroom can work in a way, but there is no way a wife is going to resist a husband. Hi Adams, welcome to family planning. Today we are talking family planning, and I'm asking you guys to define family planning to you, according to you, what a planned family is, and is family planning useful to us as Africans or as Ugandans? tujetaaga oba we should just have our kids ebirala tubirekere Katonda. Someone that is parking a lorry in front there. So family planning is the topic today, and we want to dissect this. So of course Andrew is very helpful. He's helping us define family planning. I'm thinking there's a little medical knowledge there. Marriage was not from attraction. Marriage were organized by families. So there was never so I would marry a woman and we would only meet to have children. Doesn't make sense. These days for us, we don't use sex to have children only. Actually, the having of children comes by accident to most people. Yeah, with this economy, family planning is required. That's Cathay. Family planning is required. You learn to love while in the marriage. Can love develop for the ladies especially? Do you guys think that love can actually develop? Do you think love can develop, that you marry someone that you don't love and along the way you start loving them? Or you simply start appreciating them and deciding that, okay, this person is good to me, so I will stay and do the things I need to do to be in this relationship because this person is good to me. Nebo baby ngabuli mukwesomba. Mubulengera. Buli kuboda butwala. Adams is saying we desperately need it. Okay, we've seen the background, of course, through my words and through Andrew's contribution. Thank you very much. About family planning a long time ago. Of course, family planning ya bwe yali akwa ulabitanda na bisenge. But these days, if they find 2 beds in your bedroom, because these days people marry based on attraction. It's very hard to find someone, a man marrying a woman they are not attracted to. It's also very hard to find a woman marrying a man they are not attracted to. Yeah. So the key differences that we need to see in the two situations, a long time ago and today. One, from a long time ago, men had vast acres of land. Okay, they had a lot of land, and this land probably they needed someone to help them till it. The easiest way to get labor was to marry someone's daughter, have kids with them. The daughter becomes like a worker in the farm, and then even the kids become workers in the farm. So the more wives and the more kids you have, the more wealthy you become, because the more land you can actually till, and it means that the more land you can till, the more crops you can harvest, the more you can sell, the more money you can get, the more wealthy you can become. So that used to happen. Men want nyash, women want money. I think even men want money. These days even men want money. Even if you don't have nyashinga, you have money, a man will be okay. For me, abstinence is working. I fear making any woman pregnant, though my family is anxiously waiting for me to get married. I know the moment you become an adult, then your family starts asking you, Omuchara aliwa, where is the child? I have a friend of mine, he has even built a home already. Okay, he's doing well in his career basically, and he doesn't have a woman. And I told him, you're going to suffer getting a woman, because every woman you will get, you rent a house somewhere, a room, and then every woman you get, you first take them to that room for some months, and then when you see. But the thing with the men these days, the moment a woman has nyash, they don't even want to go together. They say the nyash is enough, the nyash is enough. But nyash, you've not heard stories of men saying, I wanted to touch the nyash and she refused. So the nyash can be in the house useless, and yeah, she has refused you to touch. So anyway, the key point is that now we don't have vast amount of land. Okay, it's also possible that we have a lot of people on this very broadcast that don't even have a piece of land. Cut a person that compared to your grandfather who had like 50 acres of land, Of course, your great-grandfather had 50 acres of land. Then he subdivided among your grandfathers. Then also your grandfathers divided the land they got from their father amongst your fathers and aunties. Okay? And then even your fathers, somehow your fathers sold. So the only piece of land you have in the village is the land where your home is seated, where you grew up from. So there is nothing for your father to divide. In actual sense now, in fact, your father is even asking you to buy him a piece of land. This doesn't happen in all homes, but I'm telling you, it happens. There are people where the son, our age, actually has to build a home for the father. Build a home, furnish it, and now keep buying yaka for the home because the father cannot afford yaka. And then also buy food for the home because your father cannot afford. And then also treat the entire family in the hospital. So these days, things are quite different. I remember there is an old man that was at my site that told me during Obote's time, Mulago Hospital was very well equipped. That you would go to the hospital and even be given food. Okay? They give you food, they give your caretakers food, they give them milk, they give them basically you're eating properly in a hospital. They would give you every kind of food you need to get better in the hospital. These days, which hospital can you go to for free treatment and you even get those benefits? I am sure the answer is no, right? Nenga, that old man right now is in his 70s. It means he was a young man during the times of Obote. You get eh? So these days there is no hospital you'll go for free treatment. You see, even Lubaga Hospital, which belongs to the church, even Namirembe, which belongs to the church, even Mengo, which belongs to the church, you have to cough a lot of money to be treated there. You even pay for parking. Go and enter any of those hospitals, you'll pay 2,000 shillings per hour to be there. You get. So things are quite changing these days. You know, when we are doing marketing, a marketing plan, we analyze the current situation. Okay? And of course then through the current situation you also get to learn about the history and all that. So right now we are doing what we call the analysis. Salmin, I've not even read the other things. I've just read Islam and withdrawal method. Islam and withdrawal. I'm going to get to a point and of course read all these comments. Guys, thank you for your contributions. Keep them coming, keep them coming, keep them coming. So the times are different. Treating a kid, my son got an infection the other day, I think Thursday, Friday, so I took him to the hospital. I've not yet been billed. We have a hospital in our estate where the insurance cover is Oyotata Abani. So you need to have medical insurance in our hospital, in our clinic, in the estate. My insurance plan is Oyotata Abani. So they don't bill you until the kid is doing okay. So, but I already know my bill is going to be from 170 to 280 for a simple infection, bacterial infection. And you know, I was thinking, it is a said, until I talked to one of my OGs and she said, for malaria, what for munana? You get infection. So while you think that you're paying a lot of bills for your kid, you have to talk to someone that actually pays more for you to appreciate the price you're being charged. So we are talking family planning, and I'm trying to show you the differences that we have these days. Sometime back, about in the 90s, I would remember that when a boy grew up, when a girl grew up, I even remember my grandmother gave my aunties places to build houses kutakalie. So in case of any trouble, they would have places to go back to. However, of course my mom died at 2. So in a way I took her share. But these days, how many people do you know in their 40s have a piece of land to give to their children? There is an old man that I know. He's in his 60s. The only piece of wealth he has is a 50 by 100 plot and the house that is in it. And of course the car. And of course the number of businesses that are on that plot. He doesn't have anything else. But he has 5 children. What is he going to give these 5 children? The house? No, the house belongs to their mother because they are grown. They all graduated. You get? So in a way, there are things that we have to think about as we think about our future. Like I said, it would be a very bad thing for you to grow up, get to your 50s and sell the car you bought in your 40s. It would be a very bad thing to get to your 60s and you really have to sell the car. Because right now the car has become a liability because you have to pay school fees. We all know these stories. We know stories where a parent starts selling their piece of land bit by bit because he or she cannot pay for school fees. I can tell you, me, I went to bursary schools. Like, we'll be paying 130 for boarding school, I'm telling you. And I went to senior one in 2003. We'll be paying 130 for boarding school. They'll give you food, they'll give you water, they'll give at 130. And I'm telling you, 130 even in 2003 was little money. I would fail to but that was in senior one. And of course, me, I was being raised by my grandmother. There is no way I would actually blame her. Mbobate yakora family planning over what. On the other hand, if my father was available right now, I would actually talk to him and tell him, why did you do this? I'm the most educated among his kids, and I was one of the last, I think, because he died when I was 2 years as well. So all the other kids that he left did not go to school. I think it was the eldest that he left in senior four, and he stopped there. He was the heir, of course, and he sold the house bit by bit until he had to go rent, because he even sold the room he was living in. You get? So I'm going to park somewhere and read these comments. Okay? I'm going to park somewhere and read these comments, and then we proceed. All right? So we are talking family planning. What is family planning to you? What is a planned family to you? How many children should be in a planned family? How many wives should be in a planned family? How many husbands should be in a planned family? Is a planned family? Is family my thought? Me, what I think about it. I'm going to be sharing experience, sharing data I've read about, data I've been told about by people that are older than me, and then we'll make an analysis. And at the end of the broadcast, I'll be telling you what I think about family planning. Of course, the people that have been watching my broadcast for long know where I stand, but still, don't spill the beans. Don't spill the beans. So I think, where should I park? Kaneyongereke parking out Kasozi. And then I'll read the comments. So is family planning good for us as Ugandans? Yeah. So keep the comments coming. Don't stop. I'm going to read the comments. Guys, I do pre-purchase inspection if you're going to buy a car and you don't want to make a mistake. I come with a mechanic. We make sure you get a good deal, get a good car. We charge 400,000, which is non-negotiable. Yesterday, what was Msajja yazena antawanya. Msajja ava mu West eyo naye bannange abantu abo abamu basumbuwa. Now again, I'm giving you 300 over money. I give you 100,000 now cash. Nemuga bannange, take your cash. Take your cash. I want you to do the inspection. Nemuga, if you want me to do the inspection, I charge that 400. Kuliko costs nyingi sifi sana ko kinene. Kyenakoze ne muvira buvizi nengenda. Okitegeera. Ate abantu ababagaini ngabo pre-purchase inspection fi basumbuwa mu fielding amunonye basumbuwa. Ayinza nokuvuza emmoroka paka mpiji nti waliyo broker mgaye nti waliyo emmoroka. Banange, my pre-purchase inspection fee is non-negotiable. It's 400 between now and December 31st. It's non-negotiable. Bambi obatola ba value ya service yange, please don't come to me. It will save us a lot of time, all of us. You don't take a border to come to me. You don't waste time negotiating with me. Even me, I don't use my energy to negotiate with you. I think let's stick to the end. If you want to learn, don't even thingy. Don't even consult me, because consultation is 50k. So let me read some of these comments here. So for the guys that have just joined us, we are talking about family planning, and I'm asking you, what is family planning to you? what is a planned family, how many kids should be in a planned family, how many wives or husbands should be in a planned family. Is family planning even important to us? Is it important to us? For the guys that have heard what I've been talking about, what Andrew helped us give, and of course these comments that are coming in, we are talking family planning, guys. Dr. Jonathan have them kamoli atichue comment zizino and comment ya math ya men want women with nyash. Timmy, abstinence. But Timmy, how do you abstain? Teri chintu chizibu ngako abstaining agochman, you can die anytime. Kati Timmy, if you die and go to heaven, what are you going to tell God? What are you going that what? That you what? Yeah? You picture yourself facing God, and God is looking at you like this and asking, young man, what was wrong with you? What? Why? Why? Are you Jesus' brother? Muvudeo, Vianney, how are you? Andrew is saying we need to distinguish between biological, emotional feelings and love. Also, those days gender roles were strict. Men and women had their roles. Sex is a result of physiological nature. Yeah. Kati Andrew, you're bringing your biology. Yeah. For us, sex has to be emotional. You don't just go and start doing things. You have the emotional connection. Yes. But you people in the health, by the way, Dr. Jonathan Echirungi now was there, and Andrew, do you doctors? I don't know if you guys do gynecology work, but do you guys also have feelings like us? You see the sick, this sick person, that sick person. Don't you guys get worried of some of these things I'm trying to filter for YouTube. YouTube emanyi okwefulengeza ennyo etandika okujjayo video z'abantu. Arthur, with 500k every month kuzimba yaffe empola mba mmalako kunzimba yaffe with 500k nga z'osevinga oba nga z'ofuna. But let me tell you one thing, kunzimba yaffe 500k ozimba. A bag of cement is 37,000. Okay, a truck of normal sand is 130. 100 between 100 and 130. A truck of lake sand is between 120 and 150. Which take it, and those the sand you can buy and use for some time. Bricks at depending on where you buy, they are between 150 to 250. Okay, so what you do is every time you get money, you buy something. Nengo marako osobola okuzimba, osobola okwata emitwalo 3 n'ogula forward y'ogwo omusenyu. Okay, n'omala n'okwata emitwalo 2 n'ogula guli omulala, n'okwata emitwalo 2 n'ogula cement, boddamu n'okwata 2, you call the builders. Dr. Jonathan is saying Arthur teyandibadde gwe abuuza ebyo. Love for ladies can come and go depending on what you are offering her. Women marry men they are not attracted to every day in the name of securing their future, but then they don't love. Dr. Chiwanuka, they are not loving. They marry for security, not for love. Do I have a moderator on my channel that I don't know? They blocked Andrew's thingy. Andrew is saying that's why we say sex is a need, not a want. So whether there is love or not, sex will eventually occur. Oli mutuufu banso okeka motoka ne yagale ha. I don't want to decide for you, Vianney. It depends on what you need as an individual. It depends on your background. I've told you time and again that personally the reason why I built was because I needed a beginning. Ngo omusajja omuganda oyina okuba neewuwo. That's what we say in Buganda. Omusajja omuganda oyina okuba neewuwo, and I didn't have. So I needed to have a place that I call my own. That's why in 2016 I built the first house, and then I realized that was small, and then I was picturing that this is my home. I needed something bigger, so I advanced. So it depends on what you need as a man, I grew up admiring men that had homes, where I grew up admiring kids that were with their fathers and they were saying that's our home, which so I needed to give that to my kids as a person. Also, because my dad and my mom are not there, so I don't have a place that I can go to. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So I needed to have a place where I can go to, a home. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, Vianney. A person that has a mom and dad and they have a home in the village, they have a place they can go to. I have none. So I needed to create that place. And that's why you find that I drive 35 kilometers from home, 35 kilometers back home, and I don't mind, because for me it was something that I wanted to achieve as a man. Of course, I had bought a car, but I bought the car before I started actually focusing and realizing that, okay, I think I need this as a man. But then I realized that, okay, because now long is saying we fear school fees, that's why we do family planning in Uganda. And no, I don't think it's about fearing school fees. Normally when people say you people fear school fees, they make it seem like people don't want to pay school fees. Of course we want to pay school fees, but it doesn't mean that you should pay more than you can. It doesn't mean you should get into debt. Which take it. Mr. Move Mumalala Gabazungu Fetuli Kumi in one mom and dad, always studied healthy. We enjoy when we meet at home. I think that's family planning, because you have to plan for that number of children that you can manage. You get it, but how can you plan for over 2 children? You must plan for a number of children. I Joshua Sinakutegeira, because one thing I've realized, and I've talked to a number of men, okay? I've talked to a number of men. Some of them don't admit it, but majority of men never planned, especially the men that have a big number of children. They never plan to have that big number of children. Men in their 50s, men in their 40s, men in their 60s. Do you know how I know they did not plan to have children? Every time you tell them, I'm going to have this number of children, they will ask you, how about the woman? How about the woman? Have you also planned for the woman? It means the women kept having children, and the men, because they are men, had to stomach the responsibility. Kati Joshua, I don't know if you can sit your father down and talk to him man to man. No wonder after they have looked after the kids and the kids have, they start saying, I remember there is a man who was talking to his children, and he said, Mulaba, Nabawerera Wanji. Amina. Amina. Kale sebo. Kale. Amina neyanziza. So, mudaba lwaki nvuga esi kati omuntu wajjanga mulabe emmotoka bagimanyi obanguleyo kibenzi. So, I don't know Joshua, but personally I've taken time to talk to these older men. You know why family planning is a thing that interests me? It's majorly because every time I talk to a man about having a specified number of kids, they make it seem like whenever you get a number chi or mukaza jabazara ato jabarabira because you're a man. On Tegera Joshua. So I don't know if culture allows you to sit your father down and ask him, but one thing you need to understand, if your father suffered looking after you, he wants you to suffer as well, because that's what manhood is, suffering. There is a man who is in his I think he's 50 something, so he has a number of kids. I know Nakanaka P1, and he's a teacher. So one time we were talking and I told him my plans. Agamba gweno, oja kubolya ngo omukazi abazadde atono okola ki, oja kubolya ngo omukazi ali lubuto atono okola ki, ochegera. And this has not come just from him, it has come from men in their 60s, men in their 70s, and it's okay to the youth. That's something I'm going to cover. Let me read the comments. Mukosalmin, can you surely use withdrawal method for a year without messing up? Kayemba is saying tasobola withdrawal. Joshua says, in our family they say buli mwana no mukisa gwe. Joshua, I totally disagree with that statement. Buli mwana no mukisa gwe. Why? Because there is a family member that I know that actually has a lot of money. she keeps saying buli mwana n'omukisa gwe naye alangira abaana emmere. Kyentegeeza okulangira abaana emmere, she buys the food but then she keeps telling the kids mulya nnyo sikyabasobola. So kati if every child has their own lack, where is the lack for these children if you keep telling them how they are eating off of you and they're eating a lot of your money? So Salmi is saying that's the most painful family planning I've tried. Joshua, I think you can try it for the first few times, but you can surely get carried away in the action and mess up. Muko Salmi, I tried it once in my life and never enjoyed because I was worried all the time not to make someone's daughter pregnant, and I regretted afterwards, wishing how much condom would have made me enjoy. I have to first look for a car, or you can try for me. You can do both, but I normally recommend that you try to look in the market. Why I tell you to look in the market, it gives you perspective on prices, so that by the time you come to me, you already know the price range. Or imegenda kubyekugamba here on YouTube. Hi Hashim. According to this economy, you have to plan for the outcomes. In fact, my mom told me, the moment you unzip your zip, be ready to lift your burden. When at work, the mind is tuned to helping the patient get a favorable outcome. The way we think when managing patient is different from our mind's work. Man, that's very professional, by the way. Central Forex, it is important. Okay, the last comment I read is Andrew answering whether nabo basigara bachina feeling abajanja byono no nebada bazi infection nebada babichi, and we're saying that the outlook when they are treating patients is different from how they think as normal nga muntu wa bulijjo. It is important these days kuba akasente sikanji kangu kufuna. Martha is saying, Arthur, let's always have family planning conversations every Saturday, please. Okubajjukiza mwetaga okujjukiza bannange. Good evening, Editunes. Oli otya baba? Yeah, so I've read all the comments. Let's continue. What is family planning to you? Do we need it in Uganda? Is it useful? What is a planned family? Is it a family that has 2 wives and 4 kids? Is it a family that has 2 husbands and 2 kids? What's a planned family? And is family planning important to us? The reason I want 2 kids, max. 1, I hate posho. 2, I don't want to put on the trouser for 5 years. 3, I want to be enjoying vacations in my 60s. Thank you very much, Michael. Ndoza muwulidde. Joshua, Joshua said that you should not plan for the kids, just have the kids. Right? So I get the comparison of how men from long ago, of course men, abasajja bedda walinga abasajja bakabaka kabaka namwa eka 7 ezettaka eka 8 ezettaka katinga, he's also going to distribute that among his children. Ye katonda yakola samusanga njitadde mu esali very cold neyo eiraga nti ekyayagala okubuguma. You see, it's me shaking it. I'm trying to shift it so that the air goes everywhere. Oh, I know what I should do. Let me remove the cover. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to shake it a little. That must help. Let you cover the like what? Yes, good evening, good evening. Family planning, we can have it concurrent. Ojafuna iPhone your saga. iPhone in Butebuguma. How many of you have done a live broadcast for 15 minutes? Because that's the other thing. Okunguza iPhone na yetu ukebugume. Neta guarantee sengaji leta nebuguma jizayo ne mampa cent zange. Because this kind of work that this phone is doing is a lot. Yeah. When I'm imagining even the iPhone would get hot. Kubanga esingali very cold in the mulida. Mingali in no way. So you guys, Joshua, have you seen the submission of Michael? And I'm going to ask you a number of questions now, guys. 1, How many men have you seen that had 10 kids? Out of 100%, what percentage of men that had more than, let's say more than 3 kids, had a good life in their 50s and 60s? Just talk about the percentage. Men that had more than 3 kids. I'm talking about a life nga tebambala nga tozigwa rubege. They don't have shoes that are very old. 2, nga these men, they don't put on the trouser for a very long time, like how our friend here is saying. You want to put on a trouser, and every year you can buy some new clothes. You get what I'm saying? So how many men do you know that had a good life in their old age, 60s, 70s, if they had a lot of children? Me, I remember when I was in my P4, P5, I went to my auntie's home in Kajansi, and there was an old man called Haji Biso. He was a witch doctor. Haji Biso had a lot of children, and I'm imagining a lot of wives. But you would see the condition that Haji Biso was in. And not just him. We have seen so many Hajis. So many, even the Bakatulichi, the Catholics, even the Protestants. The moment someone has a number of kids, I remember, I don't know if I've given you this conversation. An old man, we were in the hospital, and we had a patient. So this old man and the kids, his kids came. They were like 3 kids. They came with their friends, and these friends asked the old man, "Nekati Muzei, when do you have fun?" And Muzei said, "I've never had fun because I was looking after these ones." Do you know what that means? His youth was taken over by the number of kids. He wanted to take them through good schools, which he did, take them through university, which he did, and now they're trying to find jobs which they can't find. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Exactly, Michael, thank you. Even the iPhone would overheat. You still have to put it in AC. Kati asigaza Samsung yangi sisinga. Besides, I don't even like iPhones. And you know the people, clip films, you people that have iPhones, you tend to want to believe that we all like iPhones. Some of us don't like iPhones. We are okay with our Samsungs. I've never felt the urge to buy an iPhone, personally. I've never liked the iPhone, even with the hype that is given. Away from that, guys, family planning. How many kids are a good number of kids in this generation? Of course, Luzinda has told us he's going to buy 2 kids because he wants to enjoy his old age. He wants to go abroad at Chakareko. How many kids? Gideon is saying having more than 3 kids is suicidal, Arthur. Kids are expensive and only fools believe. That's very strong. That's a very strong word. Only fools believe they are a blessing from God. God himself didn't take care. God himself didn't take care of his own son and was raised by a stepdad. Gideon, the fire that is going to burn you. The fire that is going to burn. How do you talk about God like that? How do you say such things about God? Yeah? How do you say such things about God? My son has been sick. He was getting injection. I promised him chocolate. So I'm going to stop at a shed and buy chocolate for both of them. Almost. You can't buy one thing. If you buy a toy car, you have to buy 2. If you buy a bike, you buy 2. If you buy chocolate, you buy it for 2. So I have to buy chocolates for them. And then now that their mother is home, you also have to buy for her. And now that you also have a maid, it's considered human rights to also buy for her. Muna responsibilities n'okuzala abaana kati boba n'abaana basatu. There is a woman I saw, she was having wrangles with her husband. They were separating, and she was saying that we have been together for 8 years and have 4 kids. How is that possible? So every 2 years you would be having a child. Gideon akisusizza. Gideon ayogeddemu bubi naye Katonda omwogeddeko ebibi. So, but guys, what is the considered number of kids, especially for young people our age, kati mu age yafe, looking at the economy, looking at the future, because you would know, you'd look at the future. Also, the way things are going, our future will be like this. The way things are going, our income will become like this. Okay? So looking at the future, looking at the lives that we're living right now, looking at the economy of the world over, looking at the economy, because right now we are getting into a recession. We are getting into a recession, if you didn't know. Some countries are already experiencing it. You get Ukraine, I think the Ukraine war kind of made it happen. Yeah. So, but looking at what number of kids is sufficient? What number of kids should people stop at, however much money they have? Hi Darius, the number of kids depends on your wealth. Okay, and when Martha talks about wealth, I'm very sure she doesn't mean her money just. She means real wealth, and wealth is something that can be transferred. Wealth is something that can feed you even when you're not working. That's wealth, not just having million kumi kwa account million kujizali mu mwana. I remember there is a dude that I used to talk with about kids, and he used to tell me, ngenda kuzara. We were talking in 2020, up to now he still has one child. I think he saw the reality. He was saying agenda kuzara abana nga banji. Naye nga the person that is saying agenda kuzara abana abanji yawerera batobe. Because the dad, who is actually not doing badly off, reached the time and the kids were actually too much. Kamaro gulira abana chocolate. Then soka kusoma comments. So we are talking about family planning. Okay, is it even needed in Uganda or Africa? So Abdurrahim is saying, in my opinion, 2 are enough. Me too, I want to keep on enjoying Sivachi Hyundai. Hey, you're driving a Hyundai. Your phone battery must be bad, or you're using a bad charger. Dr. Jonathan, Samsung's overheat. I'm sure you've also had Samsungs exploding. That's something that Samsungs have, all of them, by the way. Mr. Arthur, you need to visit that men and experience from them in our village. There is one man, he produced one boy, but he doesn't have anything. He even sold his home. Nozo Chirabie. I have my different fathers and they have 30 plus kids, but they are rich. Auntie Joshua, there are people that are wealthy, okay, that have wealth that is transferred. But they are also, look at the general situation. Look at the general situation. I told you that me, when I was deciding to do, when I was deciding what I'm going to do with my life, how many kids I'm going to have, what I want to be. You see, I've told you I want to be a doctor of books in Jagara, call a PhD. When I was deciding all these things, I looked at my situation as a person. And they were a master's name. But I not any masters. The times I've gone there. So I'm going to get the masters. I'm going to get a PhD to also challenge my kids. So yes, there are those rich families where they are reaching but those families now, the generations, like 4 generations from now, will they still have the amount of wealth they have now? I'm talking about the wealth. After what I submitted are facts from the Bible, unless you want to protest. I'm not protesting, but the language you used. Good morning, Council Patrick Asiku. Personally, I need 4 kids. However, I'm planning for them before I have them. Benjamin, Simi Mobile, thanks for your diversity today. I mean, finally, I'm on your broadcast. Good evening. Good evening, guys. Come for the Abani chocolate. Let's keep the discussion, the number of kids that's sufficient and why. Why wobo gamba abana babiri lwacho omuntu azaala abana babiri wobo gamba abana bana why should someone only have 4 kids? Now meanwhile kambalekero oluyimba lwange enjoy. So hi guys. I think it's better to have maximum 4 kids. Okay? You did live with me, but your phone was okay. Which Samsung do you have? Who is supposed to decide for the kids to have in the family? Husband or wife? I think it should be a mutual understanding with the minzani going to the man, because it's the man that is obligated to actually find. So guys, Martha is asking who should decide the number of kids to be had in a family. Martha is asking you who should decide the number of kids to be had. Yeah, who should be deciding the number of kids in the family? Is it the man, the husband, or the wife? That's a valid question. Personally, I think it should be the man that decides. Why? Also, Dr. Jonathan, let me try to answer that question. When I'm doing my broadcasts, mbera musana most of the times. When we did the broadcast, you were in one place. So in one place that is cool enough. Remember when I did my broadcast, nali intambulanzi. Fluctuations in the temperature and all. Eyo nabi influencing akadeka kati mbadde entambula. So atom sana gubadde mungi. That's olabanze emangulira, you imagine a machine. Ndoza nkuzemu, because I wouldn't want to compare two phones that were working in two different conditions, and say one phone is actually bad. So guys, Martha is asking who of the two should decide how many kids to have, the woman or the man? Good evening, Hakizaimana. Yeah. The market. Arthur, what does it take to register a shipped car? Pay taxes. As long as you pay taxes, government has no problem with you. Pay taxes, bring the car that you want. It doesn't. Just pay taxes. If you can pay taxes in Mombasa, by the time you get to Maraba, the car is here. Your number plates are there. You can get them. Just pay taxes. They have no problem with you. But Arthur, does your wife know your music? She does. I did that music when we were dating. She does. How can the wife decide for you, yet you are the one to take responsibility? Exactly. But you see, Joshua, majority of men have kids because their wives got pregnant, not because they wanted to have the kids. So I'm imagining majority of us here were a result of fun, not a result of decision. You know, muntu gwe manje motoka yange era wenjigwirako bwenti nganziyako number plate nga nonya. Martha is asking you guys who should decide the number of kids to be the number of kids in a family. Should it be the husband or the wife? Who should decide? Who should decide? Good evening, Arthur. I think to have kids depends on someone's background. If you didn't get good parental love, you will think having kids is a curse. But if the reverse is true, there is no problem. That's a very strong way of putting it. However, I don't think it like that. Having kids has never been a curse. No. But having kids is a responsibility. Every time you take on more responsibility than you can manage, your back will break. If I bought a Pajero, right, I would manage a Pajero. I think I would manage a Pajero. But if you bought a car that you could not manage, it would break you. The same thing happens if you have more kids than you can manage, it will break you. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So Anthony, it's not like kids are a curse, but like Gideon said, God himself had one child. The biological child, it was one. The rest of us, he adopted us. You get, but he had only one child. You think that was a mistake? It's a message that comes from the Bible. For us artists, we interpret things in a way. If both me, I want 2 kids, but the man may need more than 2, I can't push more than 2. And I think those are things that people need to discuss when they are still dating. So that if kids are more important to you than the partner, if the partner wants less kids and you want more, you stop dating and find someone that can match the number of kids you want. Okay? Then if you want less kids and your partner wants more and you people fail to agree, you can break up in the dating phase. Because I've realized that majority of people end up having more kids than they want because they did not come to an agreement with their partners when they were still dating. So chibagwako, when during a time when they are already married, ngatabacha ina chachikolera oli asigara yabazara obo yagala obato yagala. But I think this should be something that is discussed during courtship, when you guys are still dating. Madam Martha, we as Baganda men tuli batabazi, so you can decide you as a wife at home. Joshua, you seem to come from a polygamous family. Musajja tagambwa akazaala nga bwayagala. There's one thing I've also tried to notice. I don't know if it's true to all families, but there are a number of families that I've seen. Families that have where there are a lot of kids, like Ngeya Joshua Ngabo Ajigamba. And these families, like you say, Joshua, we are very happy and all, but those families, the kids are normally actually not very happy. They keep fighting each other because of step-sister, step-brother. Sometimes even kids from the same mother will fight each other. So I also find that there's also a disadvantage to having kids from so many women. So I would not support any man that, even if you can do it, you should try as much as possible to not do it. The wife has a say, because what if the husband dies? Who remain with the burden? Especially when the husband wants more kids, right? Now, Kathy, what if it's the husband that wants few kids and you as a wife, you want more kids, what happens? After your phone may be having more apps running in the background, hence it will heat up. Yeah, that's possible. I never close apps. I always leave apps running. That might be the issue. I think the husband should have a higher opinion on the number, cause more responsibility will be his. I totally agree with you, the market. Martha, Joshua, it's okay so long as it won't hinder my kids. But Martha can't push more than 2. Hey, Joshua, there are women that decide naganze sijazala bana basuka nambe ino. Yena akisarawa because they have experienced things, They have experienced things. After the way you love music in your car, I guess you used to party at campus. I actually didn't. I don't like parties. Very important to me. Parties bore me. Like I be seated there doing what? Even in a club, I think I went to club like 2 times and I was bored. I was trying to ask myself, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So I be there asking Nkole Yochi. I used to have very loud music in my car, but parties, club, those things, Bimbo. That's why I think I adopted gym. Gym kind of helps me. Both parents should agree on the number of kids. We have a middle ground. Men die early with due respect. Men, okay, let me also address that. Mweba guy, Joshua, especially you that, of course their families are wanting about both generally to. But one of the reasons why men die early is because of responsibility. A man can be there with a lot of responsibility on their shoulder. Okay? If they don't die of diabetes or pressure, diabetes normally comes because of eating badly. And I've seen this. Omusajja ngatafuna budde bulya nasoka ne ulcers mba mulya onti ate diabetes mba mulya onti ate pressure. Those things are not, they don't just come. Okitegeera. So before you know it, the guy is going to die earlier than the woman because the woman was at home not worried about anything. Okitegeera. So kambaiseko kusemto road gwe bagenda okuzimba, they are going to start, they should have started August 29. Of course basoka ne batuyiramu ku bitakataka. That's why it's possible. So majority of men, Joshua, if you did not know, and Kathy, men die because of the responsibility. Abasajja bonna bemulaba ebyuma machine cuts off their hand, they get accidents. They are trying to look after families. If they had less responsibilities, maybe they would slow down. But they cannot slow down, okay? They cannot slow down because if you slow down, your kids won't eat, your kids won't study. Men get to the point of killing other men. Why? Because that man is in the way of my kids' school fees. Yeah, naked it's a little cool, It's cool. The AC is working. To me, it's the man to decide, because if the woman decides, the man can go outside or get another wife. Okay, let me tell you a story that I've heard. It's a woman that was saying, for starters, before they had their first child, the woman knew they are not ready, but the man really wanted children. So, but the man could not actually afford a child. But because the woman was afraid the man would go out and have kids, so she had the first child. When she had the first child, the man demanded for a second child. Remember, meanwhile, they could not even afford the first child. They had baby number 2, then they had baby number 3, then they had baby number 4. Before you know it, then the woman started looking after these kids alone because the man could not afford. You get it? So now the kids are going into school, the woman is paying school fees. The man is not doing anything. Because the woman was scared, and in the end, the man had kids outside. Either way. So she gave the man the kids he asked for, and still he went ahead and had kids with another woman. Yet he can't, even the kids with that the other woman has, he still can't look after them. Guys, if your family planning mubirekere katonda. I have a very long story I will share with you guys, and you agree with me. You share the story. You share magazine, William. Personally, I don't believe that there are things we should not live for God. Do you know why? Because he did not leave them to himself. There are things that we can leave to God. For example, whether you wake up tomorrow morning or not, that's his decision. Okay? But the decision of how safe you are when you're driving or when you're riding on the road, that's not something that you want to leave to God entirely. That's something you want to have a hand in. So that's why me, anytime I can avoid the border, I avoid it. Because I know borders are not safe. That's why everywhere that I can drive, I drive there. I know the result that comes from borders. So I regardless of the story, I wouldn't want to say to Mutekere Katonda, because God made us with brains, okay, to think, to add 1 on 1 to 1 and say 1 plus 1 is 2, or to add 2 to 1 and say that's 3. God gave us that. God gave us that power. Oh, I'm going to start doing network is starting to disturb me because you have to think about the social economic factors, medical issues, etc. Yeah, thank you, Andrew. I already talked about the costs of medical these days. I remember chloroquine is what was used to treat malaria when I was still young. I want to imagine it was more affordable than now. But right now, to treat a kid of malaria, if you're in a situation where you cannot access Mulago, or if you're in a situation where you can't be one of those guys that line up in Mulago because of malaria, and you want to afford malaria for everyone, every member of your family, then definitely you need to plan. You don't want to leave that to God, because God is not going to pay your bills for you. If you want your kids, fetwakula, actually the Baganda even brought a saying, because on Sundays were special. They would eat meat, probably drink soda, eat bread. You don't want to have a family where you portion and say on these days we can't eat meat because we can't afford the money. The only reason someone should not be eating meat should be because it's not healthy. Like Dr. Jonathan would say, don't eat more than 3 portions of meat a week. That should be the only reason stopping you from eating meat if you want it. But we all know people that want to eat meat, but they can't eat it because, well, they can't buy the meat that every member of their family needs to eat. You mean those with 1 kid? Bawangala nyo? No, I disagree. Joshua, I'm not saying bawangala nyo. Of course, people die because of different reasons. People die because of various reasons. But you research it, Joshua. You see, family planning has been something that interests me, has interested me for a very long time. For a very, very, very long time. And I've been talking to people everywhere. Actually, there is a story of a man. He was tired of having children and his wife kept having children. So he stopped having sleeping with her. Na agende ebweru ate nayo nazara yo omwana stress ne yeyongera because the responsibility was too much. And this is something that he narrated live. Him ngasimumanyi na mumanya, he was just talking omuntu wanayogera to vent. Now, I will tell you that some men stomach it as men. Nenga nabo bachimanyi. And for the women, there are women that will keep having children for you, even when you're not welcoming it, but because they have pressure, either from their own family or from your family. I've told you a situation where my grandmother put my Mama Abani aside, and she told her, you get, she did not have the courage to tell me myself, but she put my woman aside and told her that. That's a threat, by the way. tetujja kujja kwanjula paka ng'ozadde omwana omuwala. So your wife will keep busy if you have only boys. Your wife will keep having children and you're thinking omukazi abadde ki kumbe yalina threat. I don't know if I make sense. And this is happening to so many women. So for me, I started researching this topic because it surely can't be that a man that makes 20,000 a day wants to have 10 children. Like he's either musiru oba either obusiru kuba obusiru is one thing I disagree with. Either I know butamanya bungi oba either I know butamanya bungi oba tategeera because obutategeera abantu abasinga kye bayitwa obusiru. Okitegeera. Now some of those words I filter for YouTube. Sagala video yange bagijjeyo. Michael is saying you got the Exynos version of Samsung. It's known for poor heat management and poor, but if tugula Samsung ate kati Exynos neetagayo omuntu ategeera ebintu by'amasimu nganze bwe ntegeera eby'emmotoka, neetagayo omuntu ategeera eby'amasimu. Mavo gadget leero taliiwo. Try uninstalling bloatware. Ayo bloatware bye biki bannange Dr. Jonathan. Oli musawo nawe nga yasoma IT. Of course there are apps that I don't use. Nagabyo no musajja. Omanyi na garage yange ey'omu kyalo. Nyina mu kyalo ewaffe eno nyinayo amakanika abiri. Nade ngamba ono guy. Emmotoka yange agikole essaawa zino. Nangamba nti obudde bujja kuba buzibye. Jebali. Brown wali. Taliwo. Anjagala kakasa nti asobola okukola emmotoka yange neggwa. Yangambye obudde bujja ba bugenzi. Kuba yakunyiga mu bushi biki. Nkeere bukeezi. Kale. Mugirabe garage yaffe ey'omu kyalo. Teri overloaded. Naye mukoka ng'agimalawo. Nze nkomawo kuzaala. There is two ladies they lost their husbands. Naye babakunkumudde mu abaana. Owooza tebazaalangako. Mujje muzaale. Arthur, this is a good topic. I think people should discuss this topic before starting the relationship. Note that the number of kids having nothing to do with success of a family. Definitely, some people don't know that. Films Arthur abaana bazzeeko kyekibuuzo ekibeera ku mimwa gyabwe. But when you need their help, they say abazaala atunudde. Exactly. The Ibisa is there saying, someone was telling me in Bazari, and I asked that person, ogenda kunyambako bawerera. Because me, I want my kids to go to respectable schools. I want my kids to go to schools that are respectable. Sagala banange bagende mu chakala schools. And yes, we have to understand. Oba kiruma bate kiruma waliwo amasomero. Nga obo yagala omwana wo abenga ategeera bulungi tolina mutwalayo. Okitegeera. I can say that for the people that have taken a long time to get success, your school, the primary school you went to, influences you a lot. Era baba agenda mu primary school nga liri awo teritegeerekeka, even your success is going to be that, like that. I don't know if I make sense. Baba agenda mu secondary school nga tetegeereka, kati nze Mityana gye nagenda muganda wange. Kati nate somero lyayitegeekako luli. Naye kati teriwulikika na wulikika lyagwa. You get it? Even your success will take that much time. Now yeah, tomorrow is gym day. Bwebanga tomorrow is gym day lwakisigula wano ennyama ya creatine. I need meat for creatine. Dr. Jonathan, walete wadiscouraging kulya creatine, but creatine mutya kati mulira mu nnyama. Creatine mulira mu nnyama. Naye akasente kange nga kagenda ku speed. Kale, gyebaleko. Mweba people, family planning. I find that for us, we had this discussion with Mama Aban. It wasn't very pleasant, by the way. That topic is not very pleasant. That's why people live in denial until the time comes. We had this discussion and we agreed. Because Mama Aban wanted 5 kids. But trust me, we went around the conversation. I was asking her, why do you want 5 kids? And she was telling me, because my mom had 5 kids. And then I was asking her, nenga bodda mazima. Mama woddara abana beyazara bamwongera okuba n'obulamu obulungi oba. You get, because this is a discussion we have. Forget about the other people you know that have so many kids that have good life. Ask yourself, the majority of people that we know that have a lot of kids, is their life better because of the many kids they have, or their life is worse? I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Hey, okay. Martha is saying, before getting married, a couple should plan for the family. Otherwise, you may sing with the Mukabia's song, na Papa Nyo, na Andinizo Kora Amaka. Hey, there is that song also. But Dr. Doya should explain cover sector mekuba. We all want to have less kids, but can't stop doing the act. The other, if I keep this space, ngenda kuku. Atabana bakumpunya. Wow. Mwe. Kakati notega mwagala okumanzi. N'abantu bangi bemmanyi nga n'empale tezimutuuka. Nenga baba bomutunulira tewali kintu kirala kimutuusiza mpale bantu tezimutuuka okujjako abaana. Mwe ebikintu ky'abaana temukizannyira nako. And one thing you need to understand, people from a long time ago did not have all these things that we know. Tumanyi nti omuntu agenda ke Dubai n'awummulamu. Abantu bedda abamu balinga tebabimanyi. Tukimanyi nti omuntu agula ku mmotoka empya, tukimanyi nti emmotoka empya ulikika bulungi, tukimanyi nti omuntu azimba ku maka amalagano ge yasooka n'agavaamu. Abantu bedda kivula nti abazadde abamu, by the way people, njagala mujjukire ekintu kimu. Majority of the women that are being married these days, musajja si alongose ennyumba y'abazadde b'omukyala. Awaayo sente ezigikuba plaster ebiseera emu ezigisiiga langi bafunayo ne kasola n'ezisaawa olujja yaziwaayo. Don't joke with these things. Lwaki? Kubanga abazadde b'omuwala balina abaana bangi.
Akakoze bulungi baba.
Kale neyanziza.
Ayademu akaguma naye nga sikangi.
Leo taddemu eggumba.
Era bifu yakoze eki?
Kale. Ate amasavu kuba nago tagaagala.
Temuli.
Kale. Esebo. Yeah, I have my mate plug. Of course, you have to pay him. I don't even know why it's called a plug when you pay. Sengo badde sisasulanga, it's plugging for free. Kati awo kuletini wange. Dr. Jonathan, kuletini wange mufunye. Kati ngenda kuba ekyuma enkya ne Mungu akwata abaali. Ennyama njikeero luva mu kudduka bwenti nga njirya. Arthur, the fact is we need this topic every week. Let me see how creatively we can work on the topic without it being monotonous. Anaku zina akasente kadduka, we need another currency. Kituufu clip films. Sente zine engeri gye zidduka. Ogenda okulaba oguze enva zokka omumulaba omwana wa picha yeeyiseewo. Naye nange abantu balaba for the love of cars. There is a time nabadde ku Mawanda Road nga tuli mu jam nga nze nkulembedde. Then the officer kept holding us nenkyusa direction mugamba afande kangende. Nagagwa lwaki teweeyanjudde? Senga nakutadde dda. E.g. Arthur, we have seen rich men in Kampala who die and women having kids from different corners. Each situation is unique. People should just genuinely reflect upon themselves. Exactly. You be there thinking all the kids are yours. Nenga sibabu. Abazadde bo probably bamsa pressure bababe. I don't even know how this adds up. I think people should have conversation on how many kids they want to have. Okay? And you see, even this issue of DNA, the issue of DNA should also be talked about. You see, me and Mama Aban, we talk about DNA openly. And she says again that nangene mugamba ngena ne payo ku sente ngateko kubafe na tukifunamu gwe to prove that abana bange nze to prove that nange this thing should be talked about openly with by couples, by the way. Abantu baleme kutuka kwechawa. After few kids, it's also dangerous. How? If you produce only one and it becomes a loss, oba okumpunye. Aha, kakati Edwin njagala nkujjemu ekyo kyolowooza. Oba tokumpunye. Because your kid is not a business. Your kid is not a business. Oba tokumpunye. Zaala abaana b'osobola okuzaala, osigazeemu ng'osobola okubaweerera ne bamalako. Oba boononese, oba bakoze eki. Kyonna kye bakoze, that's their life choice. Naye nga bw'obamaliriza naawe olinamu ssente z'osobola okweyagalamu ogendeko nze njagala okugendako mu America nga ngenze kukyakala ngende ne mukyala wange tweyagale, njagala ogendako e Dubai ninye Burj Khalifa nkole skydiving from Burj Khalifa, ngende ninye ku helicopter nkole skydiving. Mulimu abazadde bammwe abamu nze nga nange jjajja wange mwali nga tebalinnye ku nnyonyi, naye nga senga saving obusente buli bwe baweererangamu abaana baabwe n'aba relative, because there are people also nga tebazadde baana baabwe bali biological, naye nga ate bafunye nze jjajja wange yalabirira abantu bannange, naye nga obwo obusente senga yabukuŋŋaanyamu yaliguzeemu air ticket. We should be the generation that cancels that your kids should be the ones that take you to Vatican or to Makkah. Okitegeera, you should be able to do all these things for yourself and still look after your kids. When it comes to the subject of buying a course, you get it? The moment you see a family starting to calculate that, emizigo twali tukizimba nga tukizimbira kuweerera abaana ng'ogizimba to invest for your old age. Ontegeera nti you're not relying on that money. We've seen people that even have mizigo naye ng'era abaana babalema okulabirira. You get? This issue of family planning is very dear to me as a person, because I know that if most of us, if our parents had done family planning, nafe twali badde ba plan the kids. Okitegeera, we would have been planned the kids. For me, I know rich men nakulira mutundwe okulira na totukere wakatolwama naye waliwo abagagga awo bawalusindi bakyabaggu bawalugembe. All those people had a maximum of 4 kids. Atenga be bali abagagga abayina ebikomera. You see, if you're driving to Mutundwe from Wankulukuku and you're going up, ebikomera ebisinga byolaba byaba basajja naye babanga n'abaana basatu, maximum abaana 5, ng'ate baali bagagga bavundu. Okitegeera, be baavuganga zibbenzi ku byalo nga bajja n'obutebe bwabwe ku mikolo kuba tebaagala biku. Kati you need to ask yourself that question. Ndi mugagga nnyo to the level that obanza ale buzaazi Mukama yalimanya kyali nkolera. Teri byakwejjusa. Actually, I'm inspired by people that have very few kids and people that don't have kids. It takes strength to have few kids. It takes strength to not have kids, by the way. It's very easy to have kids. It's very hard to not have them. I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying. It's very easy to have kids. It's easier to have kids than to not have kids. Chemanyi njogera mazima. Akati nganja garagura greens one. Njagala nesha ready kiri kibayita batya? Chim. Nachimbiwa ka amazzi. Yabera ng'ebizigwe. okunyiriza kale Olugembe didn't have kids, had one adopted boy who sold everything. I think I know that dude. The dude that sold everything kati mutamivu, mumanyi oyo guy. Mumanyi. Brown, medium height, banange bagayi ngenda maliza no broadcast ransonga agenda geri network mujimanye emanyi okutusumbua. So allow me to conclude the broadcast from here. Tunyumya then baterumu. Neyongereyo okusinga ku tunagenda yo network netusumbua. So Luzinda is saying actually we should be in the generation that ends black tax. Black tax is very evil, by the way. Me, I find black tax to be evil. Nti ate abazadde abakola black tax bw'otaba wanga bakolima ng'alinga yagamba nti yateesa naawe nga tannakuzaala nti nno nkuzaala nno nayo ojja kumpanga yakakadde buli mwezi. Me, I don't agree with black tax. I'm going to take my kids to the best schools I can. I'll take them to the best universities I can. Nandi agadde bagende basomere na Canada. Sina chemba agara kuna inange bwe maro bawerira sagara manya. Ngina ntandika kutambula nsiga. I travel the world. Okitegeera. You guys should end black tax. Ndoza mulabe Michael Walugembe obama ate Kyabaggu. Kyabaggu is the one that owns Bukola, right? And St. Joseph of Bagitatya. Walwe somereyo liringa obanga ali e Bulaya. Oh, gayo lya innocent. Okitegeera. Banange ekirala kyenjagala banaye bagayi tugende maaso nga tugezaako okukyejjamu. Tugezeeko okukyejjamu ku kintu ky'okulowooza nti bw'ozaala abaana nga bagezi olwo famire ye efunye nnyo. Omwana asobola okuba nga mugezi naye ng'ebya famire si byaliko. Ng'ayagala kukola bibye, he wants to be on his own or on her own. That way still the family makes loss. Not because the child is stupid or anything, but because the child wants something that is totally different from what you want for him or her. So we should be a generation that has kids, and you don't have kids because you think ebyakulema bajja bikolera. Me, I have discussion with my grandmother openly like this. Nze njogera na ine mga jajja chino si chitufu, chino chitufu. Okitegeera. Why do I do that? Because we have been raised into a generation that doesn't say these things. And it hurts us. Nothing to hurting abaddako. If I can speak open to my grandmother about the things that are not going well, I will allow my kids to speak open about the things that are not going well. I'm not frustrated. I'm not doing my kids a favor to take them to the best schools. I'm not doing my kids a favor to give them the best medical attention I can get. I'm not doing my kids a favor to buy them chocolate. It's not a favor. Tebangamba ko kubazaala. Ontegeera. So Adrian, kino ekyogamba if you produce one kid and become a loss of all kumpunye. Chifu, it's like you're looking at the kids in terms of financial gain. Nti abaana bwenzaala abaana nga bagezi, ngina gagga wala munsi muno. After someone was dating me, I asked him the number of kids he wanted. He said 12, and he was very serious. Just because there are only 2, he expected me to produce for the clan for him. I told him to go. 12 kids. Ye yali asobola barabirira. Yali asobola barabira abaana 12. Mumanyi ekitegeeza okulabirira abaana 12. Actually, majority of the men that I know that have many kids, baweererako basooka baweerera abaddako. Walugembe was our neighbor. Michael ngoli mugagga. Abantu abali mbikomera byaba Walugembe awo nga waliwo bagagga berere munda bire wekoza expression yeno. Ye Michael ono Michael mugagga. Ono Michael mugagga. That's true, bro. Nairwa achi bakolima man. Bakolima because bazaala abaana, and they, instead of investing in their lives or their business, they invested in the kids. Chechibakolimya. Bashtegera sigamba nti babi akolima because yakwata buli kimu n'akissa mbaana ng'asubira nti abaana bwe bugagga. But we still hear these things. Nze mwana wange bwe bugagga bwange ky'ekyobugagga kyennyina. Never have kids nga mwana kyagenda okuba ekyobugagga ku nsi. Kola ebyobugagga ebirala va ku mwana, ebyobugagga bakola bikoye tebabizaala. Martha gwe owababiri ndowooza you run immediately. Some people just want to have many kids even when they can't take care. Those Ugandan parents would have 10 kids. School the firstborn and make him pay school fees for his 9 feet. I find that to be very seyagala kyogera kubanga YouTube yinzo jja video ya kyabusiru nnyo kyabugwagwa okuzaala abaana. And I know many young men that are looking after their siblings ng'alabirira be bazaala edda naye nga ne taata we bazaala essaawa eno. He's expected to contribute to school fees. No kama naye kati muzeeyi akyazaalira ki? Osegera nga bazaala tabalabirira nga nemmere waka mutabani wa contributing naye akabwagwako bakubira mutabani amazzi bwe bagasalako bakubira mutabani. My late grandfather had more than 10 children and educated all of them. Andrew, your late grandfather must have been a rich man. 12 kids he wanted to produce a full taxi. Neighbor Nang, I like many kids. Kola nnyo. You guys, these days it's very hard to even find a doctor. I think mwabasawo mufuna sente nyingi. Find a doctor that can look after 12 kids. Naye nga abasawo bedda basobolanga okulabira abaana kwa naye nabo bastruggling kubanga tubimanya kati mbukulu nti abasawo bedda kati nzijukira Auntie Grace yatujjanjabanga. Simanyi oba Michael Auntie Grace wali omumanyi yali omusawo we mutundwa awo ngeewa Sempiri wamuwulirako gwe baakuba amasasi. Katandise emboozi y'ekyalo. Sempiri wali omuwuliddeko gwe baakuba amasasi. Kati abemutu ne bamanyi Diiki ono yazanyanga mu bibaawo naye bamukubireyo emasasi emutundwe. Kansome kumanya bannange obudde buzibye endoza namwe mu bulaba. Martha, Salmin, Timmy, Steve Barros, Kayemba Joshua, Nick Wabuyi Nalongoze Investments, Kayemba Joshua, Andrew Okuni, thank you very much. Nick Wabuyi, Edwin Mugerwa, Emma Mukisa bananga akomyewo, Mugalasi Joshua, Ayman Ali, Kavuma Farouk, Awakening Uganda, yes, Jonathan Mutumba, Moses Adams, Nkugwa Kathy, Baba Abe Bukenya, Central Forex Command, Timmy Kayongo Viani, yes, Dr. Jonathan Chiwanuka, Andrew nkwogeddeko nnyo naawe, Mugalasi Joshua, Kayemba Joshua, Hashim, Clip Films Editunes, Luzinda Michael, Abdurrahim Kasita, Gideon Vili, Dusabe Darius, Kayemba Joshua. Gideon noyogerera katonda bwote ogenda kusula waggolwa. Modric, The Market, Haki Zaimana, Gonza Anthony, Nick Wabuyi, William Magezi, yes. Muloza sibamaze Chairman Zach, Kamia Edward, Luzinda Michael ndoza nkwogeddeko, Edwin Mugerwa, yes. Dawood Monunule, I want to try acting in the movie. You should come ku casting. Nze sigoba ba actor nze kastoba ngoli passionate nga ogenda kukiriza newe nkuvuma okole. Me I work with, and I've worked with some of the worst actors by the way, and I made them good. Kamba Sibuli, I knew Auntie Grace. She was in Simbi's daughter. Michael. Kati goli neighbor mukyala zizingo omumanyi. Ye jjajja wange Kamba Sibuli bannange mulaba, even my face is dark. I'll see you tomorrow 5:15. Ciao.